Welcome to this one-to-one on plzsoccer.com. I'm Peter Martin, and I'm delighted to say our special guest today is Frank McGarvey, a man who's had a glittering career filled with trophies and medals and more than a few laughs along the way. Frank, I'm delighted to have you in the studio. I'd like to have been sitting here alongside you in slightly better circumstances because I think the whole football world was rocked by your news that you've been, basically, revealing to everyone that you have cancer. How did it all come about?
It all came about. I was not well. I went to the doctors. They said I had something that were wrong, and I kept losing weight all the time. So I kept going to the doctors. I lost about 3 stone in weight. Then I went to the doctors again and told them I'm losing a lot of weight, I need something done. And then I went to the doctors one day and they said, you have got cancer. It's a pancreatic cancer I've got, which is a very sneaky cancer that sneaks into your stomach and gets in. Once it gets in, it's very, very difficult to get back out again. So I'm left with that inside me. I might be talking today, might be a bit sore, but that's just the pain that I'm in. But hopefully we'll have a laugh and that will go away. But I've got to fight this, so I've started fighting it, and it's a hard fight.
Yeah, it's probably one of the most difficult fights ever. I mean, once the news was out there, I saw you going out at Celtic Park, which I know is a club that you love. I found the whole thing very emotional. How was it for you that day with all your family by your side?
Well, I have to say, the first thing I have to say to the people of Scotland, thanks for all your help. They've been magnificent. People in the street, Celtic supporters, St Mirren supporters, Clyde supporters, all the supporters, even Rangers supporters have helped me, which I find that very, very good. I was thinking about it one day and I went, that was magic. A few guys put a wee note in saying, we're right behind you for Rangers fans. So that's how difficult this cancer is. The Rangers fans even know that I'm struggling for that and they'll help me. And I find that amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and as you know yourself, I mean, football's great. To be able to say you've played football at the highest levels, fantastic. But in life, it's far more important than any game of football, and people tend to come together. Lots of decent people who understand the struggle you will have ahead. But if anything, your plight, and your fight could be an inspiration to others. Yeah,
well, I've started fighting it, and that's been about 7 weeks, I think. I fought it, and I'm doing well, but not great. And I like, you can get medicine. I've been given medicine, I've been given this, I've been given that, and that's helped me. It's not always having medicine that helps you. It's meeting people like you. When I seen you today, that gave me a wee boost. So it did. I've not seen you for a while. I've not been playing football. But I've seen you most of my life, and you've dealt with me brilliantly. We've had great laughs and all that. So today, if I come up here, I'm getting out. I've got to keep moving. I've worked all my life. I've worked hard all my life, and now I'm up here seeing you, having a chat with you, and a lot of times it goes away magically. It's unbelievable, but that's how these things work. They'll go and hide. They might be hiding just now, and then after it, or tomorrow, I might say, "Oh, that was a funny one," Peter said, and I'll have a laugh at it, and that helps me.
Yeah, the strangest thing about it, I mean, it's quite unique, the two of us getting together, because obviously, from my point of view as a boy, I grew up watching Celtic, Provan, Burns, Nicholas, McGarvey, McCluskey, and that whole team as a boy when I was at school. I never actually thought I'd become really good friends with a good few of those guys, which was outrageous. I mean, Davy Provan, I've got nothing but the highest regard. He helped me in my career, playing all the time and getting phone calls, hanging about with Tam Burns, and he'd phone me and say, right, get your boys together, meet me at Barrafield. I've got McGarvey and everybody. We're playing 11 asides. I mean, it was the most surreal thing ever. And by the way, you, like Tam, one of those guys who, like Billy Stark, who would actually just turn up to play out in the park with the boys if they chapped the door.
That's right. That's right. That footballers, people think, oh, they're a football player, they get paid a fortune. Football players are brilliant and try and help other young people, and that's it. That's the way it's got to be, and that's the way it is. You know, I've got a few wee things I'm going to do and talk to young boys, and if I can inspire them, you know, there's much more just to being there and kicking the ball and saying that's the way to kick the ball and let's do this and do that. It's being there with them and giving them that boost that helps them, and that's what I can give today to people, a boost. And I might just say something about health wise, and somebody might say, I'm going to try that because I've got that, I'm going to do that, and then all of a sudden that could change their life and make them better. And I think it'll probably happen today to one person, and if I can help, I'm in this pancreas, they're doing something, what is it, they're doing something anyway to raise money, and I went into the central station last week, where they were having a big meeting. There was about 7 agents there, and they're all trying to get money in, and I made a tenner, so the guy gave me a tenner, and I said to the guy who was doing the thing, I said, that's me done my job, I made a tenner. But it went on to TV and in the papers,
yeah,
and it made £50,000. Isn't that brilliant?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's inspirational, and it obviously, as you say, if one person can look and say, there's Frank McGarvey's plight, I'm going to go and get checked. I'm going to go and do that.
Oh, you've got to go and get checked. You know, I would tell everybody now, go and get checked. Don't take any snash. If they say you've got a wee thing in the middle of your stomach and it's not very good, go and get that checked. Because they're the wee things that are destroying people. Go and get that. It doesn't matter how much money you've got. You know, money's nothing here. Go and get that checked, and then see how you are, and that will save a lot of lives.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the great value of it all. I'm going to take you back, you know, and obviously sometimes you can deal with somebody's life chronologically, but I want to take you back because you mentioned there how emotional it was to go out at Celtic Park with your family and say thank you to the Celtic fans, which I thought was fantastic. It was a standing ovation that you got, and you know, you're the only man I know to get a standing ovation twice at Celtic Park, and the first one I was there was Celtic beat St Mirren 7-0. And you scored a goal that day before we got to half time. I looked at this guy who actually beat about 5 or 6 men, and then you rifled it into the roof of the net. I think you scored a hat-trick that day, and they gave you a standing ovation at half time. It must. Do you remember it? Does it come back to you clearly?
That's probably my best moment in my Celtic career, because it was the day that Celtic fans accepted me, because I was the top goal. I was the top man to be bought by Celtic and all that, and at that time £270,000 was a lot of money.
Yeah,
it was a real lot of money, and so that was great, and then that day I beat about 4 players, but the thing, I was getting kicked all the time.
Yeah,
as I was going forward. The Celtic fans love that, a guy getting kicked and booted, and they're trying to bring him down, and then I went through and I put it in. But that goal that day, I don't know if you watch it really closely, when I hit the ball bobbles up,
yeah,
and I volley the ball, and that's why I hit it so hard, and it went into the top corner of the net. What a goal. Couldn't ask for a better goal, and that's probably my best goal ever. I don't think you'd ever see a better goal. You see all the goals now. That one went in at some speed and right in the top corner. But these things happen. If you're out there, you can do these kind of things for the young boys. Keep yourself fit. Do these things. And I always had a dream, and it was to play for Celtic and score goals. and my dream came true. And I always tell the young players out there, if you've not got a dream, you can't make a dream come true.
Yeah, it's a great line. And of course, you know, when everybody talks about Celtic's history and players that play, and maybe you've got 1, 2 or 3 great strikers, a Larsson, a Sutton, a Hartson. Before that, growing up, it was McGarvey, McCluskey and Nicholas. What a front line that was.
Aye, well, George was a great finisher. Charlie Nicholas, they two were better finishers than me. But I had to work harder for my goals than they two. Charlie was a genius.
Yeah.
George McCluskey was a great. Brian, I played with Brian McClare as well, and Mo Johnson came in. I know a lot of Celtic fans will not like that, but he came in and he scored a lot of goals. To be fair to him, and I played with all these players, and it was a great pleasure to play. You know, played with Kenny Dalglish, played against Beckenbauer, played against Maradona, who's the greatest player that's ever lived. So I played against all these players.
Did you play in that game at Hampden when he made it? He was playing as a 17-year-old. Did you play in that game?
I chased him one of the times, and I was quick, but he ran away from me without. What was I going to say? I'm a bit forgetful. No, he played against me that day.
Yeah.
That was my first cap for Scotland.
Wow.
And I played against him. And I ran after him one of the times, and he had the ball. Now, if he's got the ball, I should be able to catch him, okay?
Yeah.
And I couldn't catch him. And what I done, I swerved away, and I let David Nerry come in. He was playing that day, David Nerry. I let him come in and tackle him because I couldn't catch him.
Yeah, he was something else, wasn't he?
Something else.
Yeah, it's funny actually when you see some of the players you've played against, some of the players you've played with. I had a look at your career and I thought to myself, my God, he's played with some managers. I mean, Sir Alex Ferguson signed you at St Mirren.
Right, I'll tell you a wee story. When I was playing with I went up to St Roch's to get a trial. St Roch's is a junior team in Glasgow.
Yeah, thanks for that.
And a lot of people don't know that. But anyway, I went for a trial and they'd only 10 players to play this day, and I said, that's brilliant, I'm getting a trial today, I'm going to get in this team, blah 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 blah. And Willie O'Neill, ex-Celtic player, he was the manager, so it was, and the phone going there. He was the manager, and he said, I'm just going to go with the 10 players. And I went, oh my God, he's only going with the 10 players and I'm available. And but I did ask him a long time ago after that. He said, you were too skinny, to be fair.
Wow.
And that's why I never played it. But I went home that day by the Red Road Flats, and I stayed in Balonloch at the time, and I started crying. I've never cried in my life, hardly. And I said, that's terrible. But then I've got to look at that small thing that happened to me. I never get playing that day, and I walked away and I said, I'm never playing football again. And then I was playing for Kilsyth Rangers, and there was a wee guy at St Mirren he signed for St Mirren in 1974, and he signed me for St Mirren. And then there was another wee guy, I was taller than these guys at the time, and there was another wee guy that was at Liverpool. So they were my first 2 managers, Alex Ferguson and Bob Paisley. And then I got my first cap when I went down to Liverpool under Jock Stein. So I put that crying against my first 3 managers, all European Cup winners from Scotland.
Absolutely, it's amazing, isn't it?
Is that not amazing?
Yeah, but even better than that, though, you joined a St Mirren side. A lot of people don't believe this, but St Mirren were in Europe all the time. They had a really good team of players.
Unbelievable.
I mean, the guys that you joined that St Mirren team under Fergie were phenomenal.
Oh, but there was a lot of good players there at that time.
Yeah.
In the 60s and 70s and 80s, there was always good players going about, so it was easier for players, for managers to get good players in at that time, so that helped.
Do you remember some of your teammates with St Mirren?
Yeah.
Was Starkey there?
Starkey was there, the wee guy Richardson, great player, Tony Fitzpatrick, played up front with Derek Heslop, and these kind of players. and we had a really good. But it wasn't
Jackie Copeland there?
Jackie Copeland was there. He came for Dundee United. He was a great player.
He was a good player.
Bobby Reid was outstanding. He was to go to Liverpool with me, but he played in an under-21 game, and he hurt his knee. He hurt his knee, so he did, and he was out of football forever.
Yeah, and here's a question for you. When you know that Liverpool are interested, you've been bagging in the goals. You won the first division, the old first division with.
Scored a hat-trick that day.
Yeah?
To win
it?
To win it.
Wow. I mean, that team, quality. I wonder where St Mirren would have been if Fergie stayed, if they hadn't sacked him.
No. He went away. He went to St Mirren, and he was there for about 3 years, and then Aberdeen wanted him, and then the rest is history.
Yeah, absolutely. When you know that Liverpool are interested, I know you would have wanted to play for Celtic, but Liverpool, Bob Paisley, some team.
I know, but they're that good a team. How do you get in the team?
Yeah. But you were bagging in goals in the reserves effectively, weren't you?
I was a top goal scorer, and I can't do any more than what I was doing. I was doing that, and then I wasn't getting in the team. And I went to see Bob Paisley. I said, I'm not playing for the first team. That's what I came here for. He said, Frank, the first team I've won every game since you came here. I can't play.
Yeah.
I said, that's the rules. He was dead honest with me.
Did you feel as if you were close though?
No, I'm not anywhere close.
No? Who was in the reserves?
David Fairclough played up front with me with Ogrezovic in goals, and the midfield was the wee guy. What's the wee guy that played for Liverpool then?
Sammy Lee,
Ronnie Whelan, and Kevin Sheedy was my midfield. So it was not a bad team.
Are you kidding me? It was incredible. I mean, it was only 10 months. You wonder, Frank, if you just shown a wee bit of patience.
No, I was happy with what I done.
Did you? Yeah.
I was happy with everything I done.
How did it come about?
Well, I spoke to Bob Paisley. I said, look, I've got to get away, and Bob Paisley says, well, we don't keep any players that want away. We let everybody go, and he says, yeah, you can go and come. He says, Celtic and Aberdeen are interested. He said, and Leicester are interested in you. Leicester offered me double what Aberdeen and Celtic offered me. But I wasn't interested in going to Leicester. I wasn't interested in money or about the teams. I wasn't interested in money, and I went up to see Celtic. Now, and I said to Alex Ferguson, I'll come and see you next. And I went up to Celtic, and they said they wanted to sign me. Never gave me a good offer, but I wasn't interested in money. Yeah. The players then were not interested. But I was on a good wage. I was on £425 a week then. Ken Douglas was on $550. He was a top paid player in Britain. So they weren't getting good money either. Yeah. Were you on £425 a week when you signed for Celtic? No, I went down to £300 a week. So you took a wage drop to go to Celtic? Oh, nothing. Yeah. Nothing. Wow. I wasn't interested in if I never took the wage drop, I wouldn't have and went to Aberdeen. They offered me a wee bit more, but I wasn't interested in any money. I just wanted to play, and I went to Celtic, and the rest is history. Yeah. Just on that point, before we get to Celtic, you and I have shared some right good laughs along the way. The Phil Neal story is the best story of all time, because I know he wasn't the most likeable, but I hated him. I know, but the soap story is just the berries, isn't it? He wasn't a nice guy, and he was. We went in after training Monday. We went in to the dressing room, and I think I've got this story right. And we went into the bath, and I had about 15 bars of soap behind me, and Phil Neal said, and I was using one of them, yeah, and I was just washing myself, and Phil Neal said, "You're hopeless." And I said, "So what?" I said, "I'm at Liverpool, same as you. How can I be hopeless?" And then he said, "And that soap you're using, that's my soap." So I scrubbed my behind very, very hard, and I threw it at him. And he jumped up and started fighting me. And Terry McDermott and Graham Souness were there, just as well they were there, because we were fighting in the bath, and the two were rolling about in the bath. One of them would have drowned, so we would have, and they split us up, and then we went upstairs. We had to go upstairs for a warning.
Is that right? It's just the most mad story of all time,
I know,
isn't
but
it?
you can't do that.
Especially when it says soap. It's brilliant. You get the move to Celtic. I mean, you joined Celtic at a time where
They needed the centre forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Billy McNeill?
Billy McNeill. Billy was always be a great friend of mine.
Good man, you know, the history there as a player, but what was he like as a manager?
He was. He wasn't tough enough. Never was. He should have been. You wanted him tougher than what he was. Alex Ferguson was tough, and they had toughness in their spine.
Is that maybe because you'd been used to Sir Alex at his level, and then
And Alex was really tough.
Yeah.
You know, he get the most out of you.
Yeah.
So that was good for me. You know, because I don't want a guy like me away with murder.
Yeah.
So that was good for me.
Although Billy get, you know, some good years out of you.
Listen, Billy McNeill was fantastic for Celtic. Won a European Cup, going in Europe all the time, playing this game, playing that game. No player does what he does.
Yeah.
So
What were you
magical.
like? What were you like when you walked into the dressing room and you saw the calibre of the players that were there?
Well, there was a few players I didn't rate really.
Don't mention them. Who was the ones you did rate?
They were all good players. To get into the Celtic team, they were all good players. So went to Celtic and got in that team and played at Parkhead. You know, when I was a young boy, I played at Parkhead, and I always remember Billy McNeill scoring a goal against Vojvodina to get them into the semi-final. When I seen that goal going in, I always remember saying to myself, I wouldn't mind playing for Celtic.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That's what's made me play for Celtic.
Yeah, I mentioned the St Mirren game, but you know, was there a game that stuck in your mind that you thought, that's just made my day? You played for Celtic, but this was a special day.
I think there was a game we played in Europe, and we played Ajax. You know, they were winning World Cups at the time. This is the level of football we were playing in.
Yeah,
we were playing an Ajax team who won 3 European Cups, so that's some level we're playing at.
Yeah. Cruyff was playing, wasn't he?
Cruyff was playing. I actually done the Cruyff trick in that. It has to be trick. You push the ball.
Cruyff turn.
And the Cruyff turn. I'd done that, and nobody mentioned it in that game.
Yeah.
But,
is this the one where George and Charlie score in Amsterdam?
Well, I've not got to that yet, Peter.
Oh,
You want to tell the stories? No problem.
Crack on.
So we were playing at Parkhead.
Yep.
And fantastic atmosphere, unbelievable, and they were brilliant. And I forget the score. What was the score in the first leg?
2-2.
2-2 was.
Jasper Olsen.
What a player he was. So we went up 1-0. I think Charlie scored the penalty. They get 2-1. Then I went right through just before the second half finished. No, the first half finished. Scored a goal, and it finished out 2-2. But what a game of football!
Yeah.
The football that was played by both teams was magical, and we used to go over there to win the tie, and went over there, and we're drawing 1 each. And right at the end, George McCluskey got a goal, and we get through. But the football in the 2 games was magical to die for.
Yeah.
And that's one of the greatest. The 2 games are the 2 best games of football I've ever played in.
Yeah, I can remember actually in the second game sitting at the old wireless, the old tranny, with my mum, hearing the Radio Clyde commentary of McCluskey scoring the goal, and you thought, my God, Celtic have beaten Ajax in Amsterdam. It was just...
It's unbelievable.
You just couldn't believe it.
And we couldn't play away from home. We were hopeless away from home, Celtic. Terrible team away from home.
But great game. In a strange sort of way in your career at Celtic, you know, you won the couple of championships, you win a League Cup, you win a couple of Scottish Cups, but the one that should have been the ultimate high is you score the winner in the Scottish Cup final, the 100th Scottish Cup final against Dundee United. But for me, it's one of those ones where it's just tinged with sadness.
By the way, Davy Hay was the manager at the time, and I scored the winner, which was as good a header as I've seen. I don't boast or anything, but that header was as good a header as ever been scored. I think Van Basten, his header, he scored for, I don't know if it was Holland or Ajax, was brilliant as well. But that one, I've worked it all out, and I put side spin in the ball and everything.
Your head.
With my head, I couldn't believe it. I said, I was like, everybody's like, Frank, you've got a square head. I said, I know.
The good ball in from Roy.
It was a bad ball in.
I must tell him.
I spoke to Roy the other night.
Did you see him?
Aye. But I don't tell him anyway. Because it was a 15 yards out.
Yeah.
And I headed it right up in the air, high. So it was a very, if it was, I loved scoring. I called them the good morning goals.
Yes.
Where you would cross the ball 5 yards out, but good morning, it was in the net. So I liked the goals the best. That day I was 15 yards out, so it was a bad cross. But me and Roy, I seen him, and I also seen Davy Provan last week.
Yep.
Davy came 3,000 miles to see me.
Yeah.
That's love. That's love for each other.
No surprise to me, because he's just such a brilliant lad. Who I mean, that whole crew, Provan. I think of Murdo. Of all the guys, I mean, I you know what I'm like. I love Tam. I thought he was just a brilliant guy, great player.
Tam who?
Burns.
Burns.
Good noise up, great noise up, wasn't he? I mean, who was your pal when you were in the team?
Roy Aitken was Roy Aitken, David Provan were my two friends, and we always got on well. But Big Roy was special. I mean, Davy was precious. The two of them were the same to me.
Yeah.
And David came, and I seen Roy a few weeks ago with a right laugh. What a laugh he had! What a laugh! It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I was, I got a knock at the door the other day, and it was Tony Fitzpatrick came up to see me, and then David Provan came up, and then Charlie Nicholas came up.
Yeah.
So I got a nice wee photo with it.
Was it just great players that come up to see you? Yeah.
All the rubbish players, I told him not to come up.
I think when I phoned you, the man who marked Cruyff out of the game,
he was there.
Yeah.
How did you know? I told you that.
Graham Sinclair was on the phone when I phoned you. Graham Sinclair.
It's amazing.
Yeah. It's great to see people rallying round, though, isn't it?
But see, that day, I was in a lot of pain. I said, you better not coming up. But Davey said, I've came all this way, New Frank. I said, you can come. And they all came up, and what a laugh we had.
Yeah.
And I was sore that day again. I'm sore just now with my cancer. So if I'm wiggling about, it's just the soreness.
Yeah.
And I've got to live with that. I'll go home and take some painkillers. Sometimes the pain goes away for 12 hours, one day. Oh, that's just magical. Brilliant. For me. So they all came up, and we all laughed for about an hour, and I felt no pain.
Yeah.
So it just shows you don't need medicals, you don't need medicine. It can go away. The pain and all the problems with the cancer can go away. Get people up that you like and have a wee talk with them and all that. Have a laugh with them. That's great. Mentally, you've got to fight this illness as well. You've got to fight it mentally, and that's the way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't think of two better men than Roy and Davey to come up there and have a laugh with. Father's great, good people. See, when you left, what did you feel like when you left Celtic after scoring that goal? Must have been painful for you.
Well, when I scored that goal, at that time we needed to win a trophy to get money to go on holiday.
Yeah.
And all the wives were all kissing me. Not because of it. It's true, they were all kissing me and cuddling me.
Yeah. And
some of them are no bad cuddlers. I'll not say their names.
Don't name them. We'll get them in your dream 11.
Right, okay. So I went in, and Davy Hay's wife it's like, oh, Frank gave him a big cuddle and said, well, already Davey might get the sack Monday now. He's now got a lease of life.
Brilliant.
I said, I'm so happy for that. I love Davey here, I still do. And I said, I'll go in quick and Monday morning, go and get a contract, get it for 2 years, and then I'll just quit football after that. And then I said, I'm in for a contract, Davey. He had to don't let me in right away. Going for a contract for next year. What can you do for me? He said, well, Frank, I said, you're not in my thoughts for next year. I said, that's okay, I can play sub and I'll keep the guys on the move. You know. He said, well, I wasn't even going to play you at all. I said, well, it's not even, I just scored the winner in the Scottish Cup final to stop me getting the sack. He said, well, I was going to play Mo Johnson. No, he said I was going to play Brian McClare up front with, who's the other guy?
McAnally?
No, Mo Johnson. No, I was going to play Brian McClare. Who's the player I was playing against? I played with that day.
Was Charlie still there?
No.
Was Charlie gone to Arsenal, hadn't he?
No, I think it was, who was it? Brian McClare and the other guy I played with. Anyway.
George McCluskey?
No, he was away.
Gone?
He was gone. The other one, there's only one left.
So it was McClare, Mo Johnson and somebody else?
It was just what I said, I'm going to play Mo Johnson, that's what he says.
Yeah.
He said, I'm going to play Mo Johnson. I said, what about me? He says, well, I said, you playing me sub there? He said, no. He said, I'm looking for Alan McInally to be sub.
Yeah.
I said, what? He said, he's not even in the team and you're going to play him? And he said, that's why I want to play next year. And just rotated them, the three. He said, and I'm going to let you go.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, was that the saddest day of your life? I remember, the reason why I'm asking you that is because I can remember Jimmy Johnson saying to me that he just, you know, when he left at Celtic, he just walked out into the car park and cried. He couldn't believe it was just the end. I just wonder what effect it had on you.
And the effect it had on me, I walked out the dressing room and I was stunned. And I phoned my wife up and I think she was crying because she liked, you know, the social life and all that. And then I went home and told her and she cried. I never cried. So that was me finished with Celtic. Yeah,
but hey, it wasn't a bad move though. St Mirren, you win a Scottish Cup with them. Alex Smith, magic.
That was Alex Smith. He was a good manager. We never got on Alec, but he was a good manager.
Yeah.
So I went to St Mirren then, and then
you must have given them good experience though, because I can remember it was a young team. There was Ian Ferguson, there was Paul Lambert.
Oh, Paul Lambert, he was
a young boy. Yeah,
but he was brought along nice and slowly.
Yeah,
and I played with Paul Lambert in the games. And I said, he's a good player. I was telling everybody, buy this guy. He's amazing young player. He's got a lot of potential. And nobody took my hint.
Did you enjoy winning the cup with St Mirren?
It was probably a better experience winning the cup with St Mirren than any other club because they were expected to win nothing.
Yeah.
So I went to St Mirren and my experience was great for the team. It was all young boys. So my experience was great for all the young boys.
Did you get the open top bus? Because it's something you don't get at Celtic. Did you get it? Can you remember? I can't remember.
Yes, we did.
You did?
We went round Paisley, all organised.
Brilliant.
And it was great, so it was. And, you know, winning trophies with these lower teams is brilliant because they don't expect to win anything.
Yeah.
So that's very, very special. So I won the cup with St Mirren, which was brilliant. But the only trophy that I hadn't won was the second division.
Yeah.
And I went away for St Mirren and I went to Queensland to manage, but I wasn't a good manager. And then I was helping John Clark. He was playing up at Shotts. Shotts was a great wee club.
Yeah.
And John Clark was the manager up there. He says, Frank, he said, I'm looking for a centre forward to help me maybe score me 20 goals this year and you know. And I said, "Is that?" He said, "Yeah." And I signed for John. I love John.
Yeah.
And I signed for John. I'm going to see him the next few weeks, so I've not seen him since then. So I went up and I signed for Clyde, and I scored 16 goals that season for Clyde. And that I was playing the second division, and we won the second division. So that means that by being humble and playing for their clubs, it means that I have won every trophy in Scotland. I've got it in my house, a big plaque.
Wow.
In my house, beautiful. And it shows that I've won every single trophy in Scotland, Scottish football in 120 years. That's never been done before.
Yeah.
I meant to bring it up to you and show you.
It'll be a cracking plaque. The only thing that worries me about it is your greatest achievement in life, just because I know them, your greatest achievement ever in life is your family.
Yeah.
The boys are magnificent.
Well, I have to say that my kids have been fantastic. They've helped me, and this is why I'm fighting this, because my kids, anything I want, they'll go and get it, pump, there you go, they don't put me under any pressure. They've been absolutely superb. And when you said that, I was going to finish with that and tell you, but I have to say that without them, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, I mean, I know the boys. I've played football with them. They love you. It's a magnificent trip down memory lane. I've enjoyed it. I hope you have. And listen, keep battling away. It was great listening to the stories. Great listening to the clubs that you've played with, the players, and it's a great way to finish on your family, because you don't get any better than that. Frank McGarvey, thanks.
Peter
Top
Martin,
man.
thank you.
Brilliant.
I didn't think you'd make me cry.